Market Fantasy, the world's second greatest Bronze Age era comic podcast. Joining me, as always, is new Mike L. Kevin Jank.
I'm here, Mike Dell, and I just want to start today's episode by wishing a Merry Christmas to all of our listeners, but especially our Spotify listeners, because Mike
Yeah,
Dell got some statistics the other day saying that the top artist
this
among
is.
our listeners on Spotify is The Cure. So
I've
you
never,
guys are my people right
I've,
there.
I've never been more disappointed in the Flea Army when I found out they listened to The Cure.
That's the
This is
lump of
ridiculous.
coal in Mike Dell's stocking that he deserved.
This is absurd. I considered quitting doing the show because
This is the audience you're courting. You don't want
yes, I cannot.
it.
If you're hearing my voice right now and you listen to The Cure, do something about it. All right, let's seek help. Let's look in the mirror. Let's do some soul searching.
Well, you're gonna lose a co-host if you do that because I'm gonna have to go check myself in somewhere.
Figure out what went wrong and come back better. Okay. All right.
Uh,
But anyway, Jank, thinking of other things that could spoil my Christmas. Why don't you tell us what we're reading today?
Today we're reading Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 112 from 1986.
And why are we reading this?
Because we always do a Christmas book around this time of year. And this year I figured the first thing that jumped to mind was because we lost my favorite writer, Peter David, this year, that we would do a Peter David issue of Spider-Man here that I'd always seen the cover of. Obviously, it's a very striking cover, but I had never actually read the book. So figured now's the time.
Yeah, it wasn't the time. But before we get into that, let's remind everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. I think we picked up one more this week. So
Okay.
I think we're at 436.
People were not introduced to Mr. Weasel, it sounds like.
We're actually getting good views on that video of Silverblade with Mr. Weasel.
Hey,
But
that's good.
yeah, but only one subscriber. So again, the goal is 500 subscribers, and then what do I have to read? The Dark Knight. The Dark
Yeah,
Knight.
that's right.
Yeah, The Dark Knight Returns. That's what it is.
You have to read every Batman issue ever.
Can't wait. All right, so I also have a book out there called Monkey Flip about a chimp detective, and wow, would it look good in stockings in a couple weeks? You could just buy some copies of Monkey Flip, stuff them stockings with it. Oh my
Now,
goodness.
Mike Dell, have you considered putting on the cover how to pronounce Monkey Flip? Maybe that would help sell some extra copies.
Monkey Flip. Monkey Flip. All right. So, all right, let's get to what is this? Peter Parker,
Spectacular Spider-Man.
Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah,
Yep.
officially it is Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. That was
Yeah, I think they
the
did eventually
initial.
drop the Peter Parker. I think that kind of
Yes,
came
we'll
in and
get
out,
into that.
maybe.
So this series started in December of 1976 and it ran until November 1998, a span of
Hmm
264 issues and 14 annuals. But in those 264 issues, there is one issue that was a -1. So
Yes, that's right. That was when they did Flashback Month in the 90s. Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. I wasn't around for that.
All the books got
It's
a -1 that month, and it was all set
okay.
before, like, the comic started.
So I guess technically the final issue was 263, but they had that -1 in there as well. But
Yeah.
anyway, the original creators were Jerry Conway and Sal Buscema. And I think Sal Buscema ended up drawing over 100 issues. Like he came and went for a while, but
Yeah, he
he
sure
was like
did.
the
He was on there for a
predominant.
long time.
Uh,
Him and J.M. DeMatteis kind of were the late 80s, kind of early 90s. They had a big run.
and I love Buscema's later work.
Yeah.
Um, so good. All
It
right,
was
but
really good. And then they put like Klaus Janson, I think, as his inker, and that was awful. Or no, maybe
uh,
Sienkiewicz. It might have been Sienkiewicz was doing
oh
the
wow,
inking. Yeah, it got weird.
huh. All right, so Stan Lee, he wanted Jerry Conway back on Spider-Man, but Conway didn't want to take Amazing Spider-Man away from Len Wein, who was writing it at the time.
Hmm
So they decided to create a second Spidey book. They had been discussing making a second Spidey book for a while, and they
Yeah.
said this was the move to finally do it. And again, this was
Crazy that
19.
back then they
So
didn't have like multiple books for all these things, whereas now that's kind of the norm. But yeah, back then
yeah,
they just even the X-Men, they're like, yeah, we'll have one X-Men book. That's all you
yep.
need.
I wish it was still that way because wow. But
Yeah.
so they wanted this book, Conway wanted this book to focus on supporting characters in Peter's social life
Hmm.
to kind of differentiate the two titles.
Yep. Yeah,
And
they definitely did that. They did a pretty good job of keeping to that, I feel like. Although during the 90s when there was like four Spider-Man books, I feel like they each kind of like picked certain characters that would they would focus on, and then those characters pretty much wouldn't be in the other books. They would just be in that one.
well,
Like I remember
that's
late in
good.
the run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like Flash Thompson was a big one and Spectacular in the later on.
Yeah. It's like WWE. You got to have your Raw wrestlers and your SmackDown wrestlers.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Give people a reason to tune into each show. All right, so yeah, the title was shortened to just The Spectacular Spider-Man with issue 134 in
Ah.
1988. So we're still 2 years away from that happening in this here book. And there's really everyone knows about Spider-Man, so there's no need to talk about Spider-Man. I mean, we all know Spider-Man. Um, Black Cat is in this book, but we just talked about Black Cat
Yep, we sure did.
a couple weeks ago. And then no one else interesting is in this book. So
Santa Claus. Santa Claus is in this
I
book.
said what I said. The creators here are Peter David, and that he is Jank's favorite writer,
Hmm.
right? Yeah. So
Yep, sure is.
now this is a very early work from Peter David, and I think it shows. I think, but
Again, I don't know. I think you're being hard on it because
no,
it's not my
this is
favorite
bad.
Peter David, but I did not dislike this by any means.
This is not good. Peter David, he started in Marvel sales department and he became the direct sales manager, but at the same time, he wanted to write comics and he was
Hmm.
trying to sell stuff and no one was biting. But Jim Owsley was the editor of the Spider books at the time. And he always liked Peter David because Peter David would work with him a lot on Spider-Man stuff, I guess. So he said, hey, Peter David, let me see some of your stuff. So he purchased a story from Peter David that was used for issue 103 of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man in
Mm.
1985. So that was Peter David's first writing gig. And then he bought David's The Death of Jean DeWolf storyline for issues
Yeah, that was a big one.
107 to 110.
Yep.
So that
Shortly
was just
before this
two
issue we're
issues.
doing here.
Now
Yeah.
I hear so many good things about the death of Jean DeWolf, but
Hmm.
then I read this and I'm like, wow, this was just two issues after that. And this is not good.
Uh,
So now it makes me question everything about the Jean DeWolf. I've heard.
we'll
I
have
don't
to do
know.
that story someday.
Yeah. David then went on to do issues 112, 113, 115 to 119, 121 to 123, and then 128 and 129. Plus, he did
Yep.
annuals 5 and 6. But Jim Shooter, much like myself, did not like Peter David's stuff. And he said,
Oh.
get him off one of our premier books immediately. This is Spider-Man, all right? This is
Jesus.
this is one of our top guys. We can't have this clown right for Spider-Man. So he
I
kind of
mean, compared to like Denny O'Neil and stuff they had in like the 80s, come on, like this is better than that.
so Jim Owsley had to take Peter David off the Spider-Man book. And Owsley says hiring David was kind of like it probably hurt his career a lot because it caused a lot of tension between the sales department and creators because there was never a crossover like that before until David, because he was still working in the sales department when he was writing stories,
No.
and like the sales department's in charge of which books get pushed and everything. And Peter David said he kind of took himself out of that. He like when it pushed the book he did.
Oh, that's
I'm trying
nice.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but still, other creators were not happy about it. They thought it was like a you know conflict of interest and all that.
Sure. Yeah,
So
I can see that.
so they got mad at Owsley, and so Owsley said,
I
it's time
mean,
to let him go.
Owsley had his own issues.
Yes.
He like ruined the whole Hobgoblin storyline, so I don't really feel bad about Peter David hurting his career.
So then when Peter David got taken off the Spider-Man book, he sat around for a bit, and then he got his big break. He took over the Incredible Hulk,
Hmm.
and the reason
Did
he
that for a
got
long,
that
long
job,
time.
and the only reason he got that job is because the book was so terrible at the time. No
It's
one
true.
wanted to do it. but no
Yep.
one else. So David was what they had
Yeah,
left.
John Byrne, I guess, was doing it, and then he left, and nobody wanted it.
That is crazy to think about. That no one would want to
Yeah.
write the Incredible Hulk. Like, what the hell? That's like
Yeah,
one of the big ones, And like, no,
you would think,
don't
but
want to
yeah, it
do it.
was just a real lull there until Peter David came along and Todd McFarlane. That didn't hurt either.
Yikes! Yikes! Yeah. So there you go. That's Peter David. The artist here is Mark Beecham.
Yep.
Mark Beecham. Now, neither one of us
Who I
had
was
heard of him last week, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say last week I was like, I don't think I know that guy. But then once I saw this art, I was like, oh yeah, I think I did do an issue with him when I was on the Here Comes the Spider Cast one time, Mike L's other show. Because I was like, wait a minute,
Well,
I recognize this art because I remember him drawing Black Cat's ass because there was a lot of that.
nice. Yeah, we'll be talking about that in a minute. But
Yeah.
he only has 8 penciling credits at Marvel. So just
Oh.
8. He had 4 spectacular Spider-Man things. An Amazing Spider-Man. I think he did an annual for Amazing Spider-Man. One issue of Moon Knight, Volume 2, I think. And Mark Hazard Merc, one issue of that. And one issue of
Okay.
Beavis and Butthead.
Oh,
So
nice. His style does not seem like it would fit Beavis and Butthead to me unless he really
I
catered
think it would fit more Beavis and Butthead than Spider-Man, but that's just me.
it.
He would like I don't want to be too harsh on the Mark Beecham here. He was only 24 years old when he's so I just think looking at this, you can tell he's a young artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is very
Uh,
much
I,
trying to go for like a realism sometimes, or not very cartoony, not very
yeah,
simple
yeah,
Beavis and
it's
Buttheady, I guess is what I'm
but
saying.
I think his style doesn't, at least at this point in his career, his style did not lend itself to sequential storytelling. It
Yes,
was
that
more
that we can
it
agree
was
upon. Yeah.
all the characters look really stiff, like almost like posed mannequins, and then they took a photograph.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
He's like a fashion artist or something,
kind of
honestly.
every
Yeah.
woman in this book looks like a fashion model. They even David even made a joke about it, like, oh, is there a model convention in town or something? Because like every woman's like posing and looking like
Yep.
she's a model. Uh, but yeah, so it's weird. But he would go on after this. He did a couple things at DC, I think, but he also went and worked with Neil Adams in his studio.
Mm,
That studio
that
he
makes
had
sense to me.
continuity. Oh yeah. So he worked there for a bit. Then he did some independent stuff. He started his own independent book with another creator, and then what did he do? Oh, he did Penthouse Comics as well. Penthouse
Oh,
Comics.
look at that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. As much as
Yes,
I thought that last move made
that's
sense,
what I was gonna
he
say.
loves drawing women from behind, so I can see that being
Yes.
a thing.
And he also did a lot of Vampirella.
Oh.
And when we did our Vampirella issue, I did like a top 11 Vampirella covers little video,
Hmm.
and he had one or two of them in there. So I did remember the covers that I had seen. So yeah, his work definitely improved over the years. He improved.
Nice.
Um, but that's what he liked to draw. He liked to draw women. He liked to draw erotic comics.
Yes. I can definitely see that.
So there you go. That's Mark Beecham.
Just wait till you get to
So
Mary Jane in the bathtub.
yeah, I don't know what's going on with her leg, her left leg. I don't know
Yeah.
what is happening.
Oh, good God.
But all right, so why don't you start? You mentioned the striking cover earlier, Jack. The cover was drawn by Kyle Baker.
Oh.
Why don't you describe it for us?
Okay, so we got the little corner box there. It says Marvel, and it's a cool holiday, cover corner box here because we got Spider-Man in his black costume, all buried by a bunch of presents, and he's wearing a
Yeah,
little
I
Santa
like that.
Claus hat. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. And yeah, we should yeah, like you said, it's his black costume. So this is the era when he's wearing this is before Venom, right? But
Yeah, he's gotten rid of the symbiote costume, but he's still kind of wearing the cloth costume. And I think he's probably, I don't know if exactly by this point, he's going back and forth sometimes. Like sometimes he'll wear the black one, sometimes he'll wear the red and
I
blue.
think
But
did he mentioned in this one, I
yeah,
think
he
there's a
mentioned something
reason
about
why
his costume has
smoke.
soot on it because his apartment got burned up recently,
Uh,
although he's still living
how,
there
do,
somehow.
do you remember how that happened? Like his, because it almost
You know
sounds
what?
like Black Cat. let us go out as a permanent fire. I don't know.
No, I did look. It was apparently in this issue of Web of Spider-Man, so that's why I guess I wouldn't know it because who reads Web at this time? But I did try to look at it. It looks like just a bunch of thugs. I don't know why they were after Peter Parker, but it's just like a bunch of thugs in ski masks. It seemed like that were after him. Maybe the same ones
You,
at
you
the end of
mentioned
this
the
issue.
you mentioned the way. Oh yeah, because at the end of the issue, there's a yeah. I thought it was
Yeah.
Santa Claus coming for revenge, but it was so. You mentioned Webb, and they tried to differentiate Webb by having the adventures where Peter Parker was out of New York City, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that was the thing. He was like touring around with some reporter. He would be like her photographer, and they would go on adventures around the world. But I don't think that lasted too long, and they were just like, screw this.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, it doesn't make sense. Like, how is he always on the road and in New York in two other books all the time?
Yes.
Like, this doesn't make a lot of sense.
All right. So getting back to the cover, though, I think you can
Yeah.
say it's a parody of a famous movie, right?
Yeah, I would say it's very Terminator inspired.
I was going to say Cobra, Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, that could be too. Yeah, that's
Uh,
very possible. But it says the all new, all daring Peter Parker, the spectacular Spider-Man. It's such a long title.
I
It's a
know.
full like third of the page
The
right
all new,
there.
all there.
And then we got a little like song lyric kind of banner. It says, "You'd better watch out." And then it's just basically a black background, and you got Santa Claus there. Big shot of his face. He's wearing sunglasses, smoking a dart, and he's holding up a big old gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the little like the UPC box, it's got it says "Have a nice day," and there's a smiley face that has a bunch of holes blown through it, like it's at a gun range.
Yes. And you said you saw this, and you're like, "Yep, this is the Christmas issue I want to do." Santa
Yep.
Claus, gun, the cover of Spider-Man. Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. Seemed like a good choice to me.
So we open it up, and we get a splash page of a guy, like some punk kid stealing a present from a smoking hot blonde lady, because every
Yep.
lady in this book is smoking hot. And there's a little poem to introduce things. And I guess the title is You Never Make a Sound of this issue.
Yeah.
And, and the lady's yelling, Hey, stop, come back. And again, it doesn't look like anyone's moving. They're all frozen, posing.
Yeah. It's some
That's
very strange poses. It's almost like they're frozen in time, but
yes.
they're all yeah, I don't know.
So
I
yeah,
don't know
we
what's
turn
going
to the
on
next
here.
page. Again, we get two more supermodels posing in tight jeans. And and the kid he's running through them all. He's like, "Gangway, ladies, Christmas rush coming through.
Yeah.
Wow, is there a
Federal
models
Express, this
convention in
package
town?"
absolutely positively has to be there.
Yeah. So he's running through these models, and he ducks down an alleyway. Although you can't really tell it's an alleyway. It looks like I don't know what's going on. Like it looks like
No.
an alley later on, but here it looks like an archway.
Yeah, I don't know what's
And
going on later because apparently Spider-Man is standing on the ceiling of this alleyway. I don't know what kind of alleyway has a ceiling, but
so and yeah, and like the walls just look like walls in an apart like there's not brick or anything. They're just like, smooth walls, like a hallway of a building or something. I don't know. Just weird.
yeah.
Now they have bricks on them in some panels though. But anyway, he's running, he's not paying attention. He runs face first into a web and he drops the present and he's like, yuck. But now in the next panel, like you said, Spider-Man's hanging upside down, and now the kid's back first against the web. So
Hmm.
he's no longer face first in the web. So that's odd. It's, he needs to talk to Spider-Man. And what does he tell Spider-Man?
uh, Look, Spider-Man, Spidey, I can explain. He's like, this should be good. My name's Joe Krolik, and this present isn't for me, it's for my mother. I wanted to get her something really special since this is Choke last Christmas with us. Spider-Man's like, uh-huh. The doctors say she'll barely make New Year's. It's her clavicle, inoperable, but the bills are piling up. So that's
And he's
great.
like,
And
I always enjoy a good clavicle joke. So yeah, I like the
yep,
clavicle. Right.
yep. He's like, it's come on, it's Christmas. Like, didn't you ever let anybody go? And Spider-Man's like, once, and I've been paying for it ever since. That's just a
Aw.
good callback. Love that.
So so Spider-Man sees the lady's bringing the cop with
I
her.
also
So
like
he's
that.
like, all
Oh,
right, I can.
Spider-Man makes a mention at one point about him being so slick, like he makes Slide look like he's coated with Velcro, which is just a great call out to a minor Spider-Man villain out there, Slide.
Yeah, I had no idea who that was. That's
That's what I love about Peter David. He knows all this random shit, and he will put it in there.
even if it serves the story or not, he's putting it in there. So Spider-Man swings out from the little archway entrance. I don't know where the hell they are. But now the kid's just off the web. His web's completely dissolved, and he's talking to the cop and the lady, and he's apologizing to her and giving her the sob story, and
Yeah,
she believes him.
tells her about the clavicle, and she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, that's so bad. That's too bad." The cop's just kind of like, "Oh, brother."
So she tells the cop, I don't want to press charges. It's Christmas. We can just let him go. So the kid like shakes her hand. He's, oh, thank you, beautiful woman, and he runs away. And then she realizes, oh, he stole my watch. And the cop is snickering a little bit. So
Yep.
yeah, now we cut over to the lobby of the Daily Bugle, and we see Peter Parker walking in. And at the newsstand, he's like, "Boy, well, he's thinking to himself, boy, this is the most pathetic turnout the Toys for Underprivileged drive has ever had. I wonder what's on people's minds these days, if not the spirit of giving." And there's somebody at a newsstand, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, all the issues with Madonna are sold out." So yeah, that's what people are thinking about Madonna. They all love
Yeah.
Madonna.
It's
Peter David
1986.
has
Makes
his
sense.
has his finger on the pulse of pop culture. All
He
right, so
does.
then
He really does.
uh, so Peter's looking around, and then another smoking hot lady in tight jeans and thigh-high boots comes in.
Yeah, I think this is that reporter lady that he works with in Web
Oh,
that they
okay.
always go on those adventures with.
So
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
going to
this is
ask you, who
her.
is this? Yeah, her name's Joy, apparently. Hi,
Yep.
Joy. And his spider sense is tingling. Uh, or so it's just that he's excited. I don't know. But
My spider pole is tingling.
so she just walks over and she's, oh, thanks, Peter, for lending me your camera the other night. And she just, and that was in last ish. And she just lays a kiss on him. And she's
Yeah.
like, mistletoe. You're right under the mistletoe. And he's like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. And she
Yeah.
leaves.
Because all good workplaces should put up mistletoe. That's not a
Yeah.
PR violation of any kind.
That's, yeah, that's to get more sexual harassment cases in the workplace.
Yeah.
So he goes and talks to a lady. I guess who is this lady he's talking to? His
Yeah,
editor.
this is some secretary lady. Oh, I guess she's like I don't know who she is. She's like she hands out the assignments, I guess, is kind of her deal. And she's like, I got nothing for you, but how come you're never here when I actually do need you, and you're here when I don't need you? You should get a beeper. And we cut to a
Uh,
cutaway of Spider-Man fighting Doc Ock, and he's like, "Sorry, Doc Ock, gotta go. That's my beeper." Doc Ock's like, "I know how it is. We doctors have beepers too."
and then there's a
And
panel
then,
next to it that's in
yeah,
black and white with a big red X through it. So yeah.
I
But
like
then
that.
we
That was
have
fun.
Peter. But then I did like that. But then we have Peter posing next to it like he ate too much chili. He's holding his belly, his head.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there. But that lady's name is Kate Cushing. Kate Cushing.
Yep. She
So I
does not
guess
kiss him.
yeah.
No kissing with her.
All right. So here's when the story really goes off the rails. So Peter calls Aunt May to see what she's doing for Christmas, right?
Yep.
And Aunt May says, "I got my buddy Ann Watson coming into town."
Yeah, old
We're
Aunt
gonna have
Anna.
dinner.
Mary Jane's Aunt Anna coming into
Yep, Aunt
town.
Anna. And she's cooking as this is happening, and Pete says, oh, "All right, well, I don't want to get in the way of you and or Anna having fun, so I'll beg off." So he just hangs up, and she's like,
Yep.
"Oh, Peter." Like I wish phones allowed me to call you back, but they
Well,
don't.
he's at a news desk. I don't know. What's she gonna do?
But they, I
Call back to
can't
the newsroom and hope he's still standing
can't
right
call
there?
you back. So
Well, she says he probably doesn't want to hang out with a bunch of old people anyway. Like he's probably got better things to do. So she's kind of feeling bad.
uh,
He already hung up.
yeah, Peter Parker is not that close enough to his Aunt May. Yeah, they just don't want to hang out on Christmas. Come on, what are we doing?
This is classic
And
Peter Parker though, like him being like, "Oh, no one wants to hang out with me," and he doesn't even stick around long enough to hear that they actually do. Like that's a
all
very
right.
relatable thing to me. Like,
Okay, well, I got a very unrelatable thing when we get to the end of this. So then he asked Joe Robertson next,
yeah,
and Robbie's like, I got my son coming into town. He just better not
yeah.
be married to a white girl. That's all I know. We find that
Can't
out.
wait to see him and whoever he's dating was definitely not white.
Yeah, that's the big reveal later on that his son's dating a white girl. So
Yep.
apparently, Robbie Robinson's racist. I have no idea. But
Uh,
so he says, "All right, I guess if your son can't, all right, Robbie, I'll see you later." So he's walking out the door, and then Robbie says, "Hey, Pete, yeah, you can come over." But then Pete's already gone. He's
yeah,
like,
because
"Oh."
Pete knows Randy. I don't know if they have been roommates at this point or not, but I know definitely in the future they've lived together a couple of times.
And okay, Cushing's in there talking about that. You got to keep Jonah off my back.
Yeah.
Jonah's on your back.
Yeah, so she kind of
But
interrupts,
anyway,
Peter and Randy or Joe here, and so that's when Joe is like, he gets done with Catherine. He's like, "Oh, hey, Peter, you can come." Oh, but Peter's already gone.
so yeah, Peter's swinging through the city of Spidey Man, and he looks down and he sees some kids coming out of school, and he goes, "Oh man, I wish I could be like those school kids down there. What problems could they possibly have?" And then we
Yeah.
get clearly a panel where Mark Beecham draws a picture of somebody he knows named Johan.
Yes.
Because in the panel,
Yeah.
it's just a kid front and center staring at the camera. And it's a very distinctive
It's not
looking
even the
child
kid that
who,
we're following here.
yes, the kid we're talking about is in the background, not in any
Yep.
detail whatsoever. And we get this face of this strange little boy looking at us. And he's got his name Johan written right on his left chest.
Yeah.
So clearly, Mark Beecham knows this guy. Yeah.
Yep. Sounds about right.
So, but what's going on with this kid? And
So this was part of an ongoing subplot where this kid is kind of being abused by his dad, and his teacher is trying to help him. And I believe what basically this kind of culminates when this kid actually has powers, and like, he kind of, goes nuts eventually.
so a
So
kid has powers.
yeah, he's like a mutant or something, but he's got powers, and yeah, I don't think it ends well for his dad, but. It's kind of an
Uh,
ongoing thing. I remember reading parts of this in that here comes the Spider Cast when we did that. I remember reading parts of this.
so do you remember a character in Spider-Man at this time? His, I guess, supporting character. I don't know what he was. His name was Ace. Ace.
Ace. I
He
don't
was a
think
black
so.
fella, and he kind of looked like a masculine Michael Jackson or something. Or
Oh, is he in that one annual where it's just like him and like a motorcycle, like he's Prince or something like that?
yeah. So on the
I think I've
Wikipedia
seen that
page, it talked
cover.
about. So that character Ace was patterned after Mark Beecham. Like that's Mark Beecham basically.
Oh,
And
okay.
because here's a quote from this is Jim Mousley, but now he changed his name to Christopher Priest. So now he goes by Christopher Priest. He
Yeah.
identifies as Christopher Priest now. And remember we told the backstory on that? Like, didn't he like lose a bet or something? And he said if I ever broke up with my wife, I'd become a priest. And then he did get a divorce, so he changed his name to Priest.
That's
So
amazing. That's the best thing he's ever done then.
so he says the character Ace is pretty much a self-portrait of Mark, only toned down a little. Yes, I said toned down. He kind of answered the question
Wow.
as Mark in real life did. What if Michael Jackson looked masculine? He looked like Mark. He was Mark. Mark looks like a masculine Michael Jackson, an MJ that could kick your ass. He's tall and lean with a piercing
We
gaze
get it.
and funky hair. He is Ace. Yeah,
But he looks like Michael Jackson, but he can kick your ass. I'm going to mention that 12 more times before I
it
finish this
sounds
book.
like this Christopher Priest loves Mark Beecham. Here's
He
another quote
does.
from the Wikipedia page. Mark Beecham, notorious gangster deadline breaker. had a standing deal with me. I never gave him anything on a schedule because I knew it'd bring us into conflict, but I guaranteed he'd always have work. When he turned in job A, I'd hand him another script. When he turned that one in, I'd hand him another. This way, Mark worked at his own pace instead of getting kicked by me for being late. Of course, he'd be late.
Wow.
He's Mark Beecham, but damn, that man could draw.
What a cushy gig. I mean, he's worried
I
about giving
know.
Peter David a job and pissing off the sales department when he's over here sucking Mark Beecham off every 5 seconds,
Yes.
giving him preferential treatment on every job. Like, oh, you can do it
Kind
at
of
your own
like
pace, buddy. That's fine.
being able to hit a deadline and produce pages on schedule is kind of the job of a comic
Yeah,
book artist. That's the
yeah,
number
kind
one
of
thing.
is.
And he said, "Oh, don't worry about it, buddy. You just do
I
whatever you
mean,
want."
books kind of have to come out on time. Like you, what is he all doing? All stories that don't have to be in any specific issue. Like
Yeah, that's what I
you're going
don't
to be out of
understand.
continuity. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Um, and how long exactly did it take him to draw Mary Jane's leg later? Because
Yeah.
if he wasn't pressed by a deadline, what happened? What happened? But anyway,
Uh, yeah.
so
But so this kid is kind of being beaten up by his dad, and there's a teacher trying to intervene, but the dad's just kind of like, well, you better watch what you say, or I could start some rumors about you and your interest in my son, and
yeah, Pizzagate.
people might
Yeah,
not look fondly upon you.
yeah, pizza, pizza. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the teacher's all sad and he lowers his head. Now we get to a shopping mall with Santa Claus, and
Yeah.
he's having kids jump on his lap and everything. And the kid is telling him, "Hey, yeah,
I did like that they had the guy in the PA systems like attention Macy's shoppers, the last chance to see the one, the only Santa Claus. But there's like three of them in the store alone.
oh, yeah." The kid's telling him, "Oh, he wants a stinkor." If you see,
Yeah.
yeah, Masters of the Universe
Yeah.
reference.
I
Peter
had a
David.
stink ore.
Yeah, everyone had a stinkor. And he's like, "Oh, and a Raiders of the Lost Ark videotape to play in my mom's new VCR. Mom and her roommates, Candy and Randy, bought it. It's a neat little one."
Yeah,
And he's like,
pizza,
"Really?"
pizza, people across the hallway there. Bambi and Candy and
Candy and
Randy.
Randy, three smoking hot ladies who just
Yeah, I was
happened
just
to
like sunbathing on the roof, so you'd always have to sneak in when he
be.
was being Spider-Man.
So Santa Claus is like, "Oh, hey, little Jordy, what's your address again? To make sure I go visit you in that nice new VCR." So he
Yeah.
gives him the address, and then we see his mother Bambi come in again wearing tight jeans and high heels.
And of
And
course we see her from behind.
yep, and she picks up the kid, and Santa Claus is taking notes in his address book. He's gonna go
Yeah.
rob their apartment. This Santa Claus.
It's a bad dude.
So we
That's I
see
think another running kind of subplot. They've been teasing this for a couple issues.
whack whack whack. Uh, Peter Parker's
Yep.
at his
He's
apartment.
polishing the old ebony blade. No,
And
he's
he's
just got one of
playing
those
with the
paddle
little
boards.
yeah, paddle ball. And then the ball breaks off the string and goes bouncing across the apartment. He says, "Figures." He's also sitting without a shirt, just in his
Yeah.
Spider-Man pants.
He's probably about to do a podcast.
And his apartment's a wreck because, like again, we said it was on fire recently.
Yeah. I'm surprised he's still living there, honestly.
I just love that he has that big table, like it's a big spool of thread, but it's like
Yeah.
all the thread's gone, you know? It's just, I love that table. It's always in his apartment throughout all the years. Because Reverend Jim Ignatowski had a table just like that in his apartment on Taxi. So that's why
Oh,
I
of
liked it.
course. It
Yeah.
always comes back to taxi.
And in one episode, the gang was visiting him because it was an abandoned building he lived in. It was going to be condemned,
Oh,
but he
much
lived
like
in
Peter Parker right now.
and he has a big table like that. And Bobby, the actor guy, they have some walnuts. He has walnuts out on the table in a little dish, and he's like, "But Jim, where's the nutcracker?" And he's like, "Ah, you're looking at it, and it's the table." And he puts the nut under the table and sits on it, and it crushes the walnut, and that's how you get the walnut. But yeah, now the nut's crushed. So every time you think of this, if you're reading a Spider-Man comic and you see that table, please, for the love of God, think of Jim Ignatowski and Taxi.
I will never remember the name Jim Nikotowski, but okay.
Ignatowski. Ignatowski. And he changed his name. His name was Jim Caldwell, and he changed it to Ignatowski. And you know why? Because he says, "Why would you change your name?" And he says, "Well, say it backwards." And he thought it was Star Child backwards, but it was not Star Child backwards. So that's
Nope, not at all.
all right. So anyway, so Pete, he's sitting around the apartment. He says, "You know what? I'll call someone else so I can spend Christmas with." And he calls up Harry Osborne.
Yeah, his old buddy Harry Osborne.
And who's he married to? Liz or something?
Liz Allen. Yep.
Oh, okay. And they got a
Little,
baby.
yep. Little Normie. He's
Oh, little
he's
Normie.
literally a newborn baby at this point. And
Did
he is
little
going
Normie grow up to become a
he's
Green
going
Goblin
off.
too?
Let's see. He definitely hated Spider-Man, and I believe after Norman became Carnage, like part of the symbiote kind of got in little Normie. So he may have become like a tiny red goblin or something like that.
Tiny red goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a wee baby at this point. And like you said, he's going nuts. He's crying and punching Harry in the eye. He's doing all kinds
Yeah.
of things.
Peach is like, ugh, I don't want to deal with this. See you later, Harry. We'll talk some other time.
So now Pete calls Mary Jane. Why wouldn't you call Mary Jane first?
Yeah,
Why
that
wouldn't
would
you
have been
call
my
her
first stop.
first?
Yeah, this
That's your
smoking hot
girlfriend.
redhead you hang out with.
That's, you
I don't know
got
if they're together right now. I think
got a
she's just
framed
kind of
picture of
recently
him
come
by her
back to
phone.
town. Yeah, that's true.
Like you're calling Mary Jane first. You're not worrying about anything
Yeah,
else.
that is definitely your first stop. Yeah.
So that's a problem I had. And then so but it's he just gets her answering machine, and then we cut away. She's in the shower. Would you describe what's going on with her in the bathtub?
Okay. So she is in her lime green bathtub, and oh boy, she has her legs, I don't know, like one of them's kind of just bent at the knee sticking up out of the water. The other one is kind of crisscrossed across that one. She's got it like out of the water and then stretched, splayed across the other leg. They're kind of making an L there. And she's got the like the detachable kind of uh shower head, one of those things. So she's definitely using that to masturbate right now. Is really what we're doing
But in
here.
this panel, she's using it to wash her hair. Yeah, but
Yes, but
yeah,
she has the cord
and
wrapped all the way
yeah,
around her leg. I guess
yes,
because there's too
she
much
got
slack. I don't know.
she got the one with the extra 30 feet of cord for
Yes.
the shower head.
If you ever need to shower in the living room, this
Yes,
is the model you want.
or take it outside, stretch it outside to wash your car. This is the shower head you want. So much cord on the shower head.
Yep.
It,
Yeah. Quite the
her left
situation she's
leg,
got going on here.
I have no idea how that left leg attaches to her hip. It was completely like look at where the other leg is. And
I'm sure Meacham would love to show you. Just get rid of those bubbles and show you exactly how this
this,
looks.
this is just a cheap ploy to titillate the young teenage boys reading this issue.
Yep. And it would have worked. Not gonna lie.
So then we see, and then Mary Jane, she's also talking to herself. She's not thinking to herself, she's talking to herself the
Yep.
whole time. And she's just saying, it's going to be like old times there with me, Aunt Anna, May Parker, and Pete. Like when Pete and I
Yeah.
were first introduced. So she knows she's going to dinner with, and again, it makes you wonder why wouldn't Aunt May tell him this? Um, and she's getting out of the tub, and again, she's naked. So we're getting very, you know,
Oh yeah.
provocative shots of Mary Jane with the
Mhm.
towel barely covering her bottom. And she's dry, like there's an insert panel here, clearly from Penthouse Comics, where she's like looking
Yes.
all in the throes of
Yep.
passion as she's drying. And then another shot of her with the towel tightened around her waist. And yeah, so basically she knows she's going to
She's looking
Christmas
forward to
dinner.
seeing him. She's like, I've tried to call Pete, but first he wasn't home, then his line was busy. He'll be there. What else has he got to do? But he's just sitting at home playing with his camera, taking pictures of himself.
And the phone rings, and then the person just hangs up right away. Who called him though, Jank?
Well, it was the black cat. Alicia Hardy called him up. She
And
says,
how
Merry
is she
Christmas,
dressed when she
Spider.
calls him?
Not in her black cat costume. She's wearing kind of a small pink negligee type thing, I guess.
Yes.
No pants.
Showing all the leg,
Um,
showing all the
yep.
leg. Yeah. And she's posed like a model in a lingerie catalog while she's hanging up the phone. Yeah, she just called him to hear his voice, but she didn't want to talk to him. She didn't want to talk to him. So
Yeah, she's like, it's
I
still
had
too
to.
raw because she got those bad luck powers and she realized they were affecting Spider-Man. So she was like ready to sacrifice them to, that she was like ready to make the sacrifice of never seeing him again. But then you broke up with me first. No romantic sacrifice for me. Oh no, no noble gesture, nothing but ashes. So she's like, I'm getting out there. I'm going to be
Yeah.
Black Cat again.
Yeah, we just talked about Felicia Hardy during that Cloak and Dagger issue a couple, well, it was probably a month ago or so. But
Yeah.
remind me, how did she? So, because I always think of her as having the bad luck powers, but she does. She did not have them initially, and then she got them
Yeah, she did
somehow, and
not
then
have
she got.
that for a while, and then she was like, "I kind of need powers. Like this is dangerous." So I believe she went to the Kingpin, and somehow the Kingpin hooked her up with some
Okay,
scientist that was like, "Yeah, here, I'll give
it's
you some
like
powers."
it seems pretty easy to get powers, man. It seems like anyone can get
Yeah,
them if they want them.
you really can. Just gotta, sell your soul for him, but it's worth it.
Oh yeah, because that's right. Because then I asked, well, why didn't Kingpin get superpowers? If it's so easy, why didn't he get them?
Yeah,
You know? Yeah. So anyway,
he's that good. He doesn't need them.
Felicia goes to her closet and she pulls back some clothes, and boom, there's the Black Cat costume sitting in the back there. And this is the cool Black Cat costume, not the lame one from the
Yeah,
Cloak and Dagger.
so much better. I love this
It's
so much
the
more.
all black bodysuit with the white fur trim on the wrists and calves and around the neck. And she puts on the Black Cat costume, and she's going to be Black Cat again. She's going out on the
Hmm.
town. And she's looking great. And it's the Black Cat. And
Yeah, she goes to the mink coat store and she's like,
yeah.
"Oh, of course it's closed. Oh, but look, there's some guys robbing it." And she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna take down these guys and beat them up." She kicks one in the face, and the other one's coming up from behind her with a knife. And her bad luck powers kick in, and that guy like slips on a banana peel or something, and just well, he slips on a mink coat, I guess, and just falls and knocks himself out.
Yeah. And she picks up the mink coats, and she's just going to keep them, because she's the
Yep.
Black Cat. She walks
He's like,
that line.
I'm gonna take a
Yeah.
couple of them. Yeah. Won't
But
be as greedy as these guys were gonna be.
as she's making her way through the home, though, she sees some homeless ladies trying to stay warm near a fire in a barrel, and she says,
Yeah.
"Here, ladies,
And
get
she is
some."
crawling on the ground at this point so that we can really get a good shot of her ass.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much every panel of her, we see her ass
Yep.
in some way, shape, or form. Uh, yep. She's always got to turn, show the backside. And she gives them the coats and wishes them a Merry Christmas. And how about
Yeah.
that?
She's kind of like, maybe this will be
Yeah.
my new thing, robbing from the rich, giving to the poor.
I don't know what's really going on there in that next panel at the top of the next page where she's staring at the camera. Like, what are her hands doing exactly in that?
Uh, she's trying to hug someone. I don't
I have
know.
no
In
idea.
midair.
No idea. But she's still prominently displaying her ass. So
That's the important part. Twisting
uh,
so that her ass is showed.
yes. Now we cut back to Peter Parker's place, and he's got 2 cans of Coke left in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
But it's the
And that's
classic,
it.
not that new stuff. It's classic Coke. And David's
Yeah.
hitting all the pop culture notes in this one. Madonna, New Coke, Stinkor. He's
You know
hitting all of
exactly when this came out. I love it.
them. He still doesn't have a shirt on. Put a shirt on, Pete. What are we doing?
Hey, when you're built like this because of your spider bite, like you gotta show that shit off.
So he's excited. He's like setting a table for somebody. He's talking to somebody like, "Oh, we're going to have a drink," and he pours a Coke in each glass. And then we look over, and it's just his black Spidey costume draped over a chair.
Yeah.
Drink up.
Yeah. Really pathetic.
Now we get Bobby
He's kind of like, I
Robertson.
remember when you used to be alive. That was cool. Now you're just cloth.
Talks to Robbie Robertson. Or no, Robbie Robertson's on the phone talking to his son. Conversation, Jank. Why don't you take us through it? And see, there's at least three other models in this photo as well.
Yeah. Yep. It's honestly hard to tell which one is actually his wife because they're just models everywhere. Joe says, Randy, I was hoping you'd manage to get through, son. I know your flight snowed in Pittsburgh. Uh-oh, no one
Oh,
likes
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. How do I know? Son, journalists find things out. I checked on your flight to see if there was any problem with it.
And he's
And
like,
Randy's like, and there certainly was. Well, we're getting a hotel room too. Joe says, are you bringing home a guest, Randy? Not that it's a problem, but some warning would be nice. Oh yeah, it's an old friend I ran into at the airport. That is a wild coincidence, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe I will bring my friend over. I'll let you know. Take care, Dad. He knows I'm lying. I don't know how, but he does. And
an
the
old friend I
lady
ran
says,
into at the wedding chapel.
"Yeah,
And
my Wang ran into her many times." And she's like, "Why?" Well, his wife here is like, So why lie?" Randy, they're your folks, but I think they deserved to know you're married and married to a white girl. And a white girl who's crazy about you. It's like, same here, lady, and don't worry. My folks are cool, particularly Dad. He'll have no trouble accepting it as soon as I get the nerve to tell him.
yeah,
Dun dun dun.
a little subplot there with Peter David getting
Yep.
into the lives of the supporting cast. So now
I
we
like
see
this. It starts turning into a poem, like a night before Christmas poem.
yeah. Would you like to read it for us?
Ah, sure. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring except for one louse. Our hero lay sleeping with Teddy in arm, a gag gift from MJ to keep him from harm. And next door to Peter 'twas equally still, though a window now open had let in a chill. Dear Randy and Candy both snoozed in their beds, while visions of Tom Selleck danced through their heads. But Bambi was restless, and wind through the door served only to waken our heroine more. And then from the living room she heard a noise and figured that Jordan was opening toys. She goes to the door and she's going to the living room to see what's going on. This is
And
my
again, we
son
get two
couldn't.
shots of her ass
Yeah.
as well. Two more shots.
She's just in an aerobics outfit to sleep in. That's
Yes.
choice, but
Every yeah, every woman here who's at home has leg warmers on. Like that's
yeah.
another thing that happens. I forgot to mention that. Uh,
Uh, my son couldn't wait, was Bambi's surmise, but when Bambi walked out, she stopped short in surprise. That's what Santa Claus says 'cause he's got a gun pulled on her.
he's got like a TV and a VCR in a bag he's taking and everything. And she's like,
Yeah.
I must be dreaming. And he's like, just stay against the wall and you won't get hurt. She's like, I dream. That's it. I'm dreaming. Come on, Bambi. Wake up, Bambi. Wake up. And he points the gun at her. And she's like, well, what do you want? And he says, spread Christmas cheer. But well, that's going on next door. Peter Parker, he wakes up. Uh, his spidey sense is tingling.
Yeah.
And he's like,
So
uh-oh.
so intense that it woke him right up.
And he senses it must be from the girls across the hall. So he goes, turns into Spidey and he goes jumping through and just breaks through their window.
Yeah.
Who's going to
He's like,
pay
if
for
my
that,
apartment's gonna
Spidey?
be a piece of crap, like theirs
Yeah.
can be too.
And he starts quipping. He's like, "Hey, there you are! I finally found you." And he webs Santy's gun. He's like, "You promised me a bike 15 years ago, and you welched, you creep. You heard me. Where's my Schwinn?"
Like Dave Damashek in the bowling ball that he promised he had.
And also, Bambi is also bending over again to show you the hind parts. And so Spider-Man is the kid comes out and he sees Santa Claus, and the mom's like Spider-Man. The kid's like Mom, and Spider-Man's like Mom. So he didn't know Bambi had a kid, I guess.
Yeah, I guess not. I didn't know that either to this till this issue, honestly.
And Bambi's roommates come out, and they're also dressed. Well, the one apparently sleeps in cut off Daisy Dukes.
Yeah,
So
that seems comfortable.
I gotta sleep in my pink cut off Daisy Dukes.
That's quite the choice. The other one, I can't
Jim
even tell what
Mauser.
she's wearing. She's wearing some kind of a squid or something. I don't know what's going on there. I guess that's supposed to be a skirt, but I don't
I
know.
think it's the webbing. Like it's the webbing hitting her. Like because he
Well, yeah,
shoots
you
his
see the
web.
webbing, but like there's black coming off of there. That doesn't seem to be the webbing, I wouldn't think. I
I
don't
think it
know.
is though. I think it's supposed to be like
Really?
excess webbing bouncing off her
Like it
thigh, kind of.
thickens at the end? I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Because yeah, Spider-Man's trying to web Santa Claus, but the girl's getting away. But
Yep.
yeah, like it's not a good shot here. Like the
No.
perspective on the webbing is off. Um, and then do you know this lady, Spider-Man's landlord, was like she a recurring character and stuff?
Yeah, she definitely was.
So she comes in and
No
she's
love
yelling
lost
about
there.
yelling about the disturbance. But Spidey just picks her up, puts her aside, and runs up the stairs after the Santa Claus, who's dropping all the stuff he stole. And oh, we get a good shot of Spider-Man's ass in this panel as well.
There we go. Something for the ladies.
But man, he's breaking the TV and everything. Man, this isn't going to be a Merry Christmas for this
No.
Bambi, Randy, and Candy. But Spider-Man cannot catch this guy. Like he's like how many stairs away from him here? Like six,
Yeah, you
seven.
can jump over those
Yeah.
TVs. You're
Just web him.
Spider-Man.
You could web him in the
Yeah.
back right there.
There's
And
no girls to get in the way this time.
but Santa Claus gets to the roof. He opens the door and he says, "I made it. Yeah, because you made it to the roof. Now what, dummy? What are you gonna do? You know?"
Yeah, you're not really Santa Claus. You don't have a
Yeah.
sleigh up there that's going to take you away.
And he says, "No, no, it's not possible." And then we see in the foreground just like another Santa coat, and this
Hmm.
guy's saying, "Last year it was slasher films. Now it's this. I'm not laughing." Yet in
Yeah.
like the that split second it would have taken Spider-Man to get up those stairs. Now Santa Claus is gone, and
Yep.
everyone's gone, and
Both Santas
Spider-Man's
are gone.
he's looking around and he's like, "Oh, he's gone." And so now we cut over the next day or whatever. Peters wakes up to his phone ringing. He picks it up, and it's Kate Cushing, and she has an
Hmm.
assignment for him. And he calls her Catherine. He's so sleepy. And now we see Kate Cushing sitting in her apartment again, dressed like she's gonna be in the Super Bowl later. She's,
Yep.
she's wearing
More
a
leg warmers.
football jersey and leg warmers.
Yep. And I
Uh,
don't know what the heck's going on. Like, are those socks that have like the
I
pink
yeah, pink
toes?
toes, I
I don't
guess.
know.
Yeah. It seems like they're leotards with hot pink toes because
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Mark Beecham had a had a weird view of how women dress.
He really did.
He's
Uh,
24, you know, these are his hopes and
yeah, he's just
aspirations.
drawing what he was attracted to, clearly.
Yeah. But she says there's a story, I don't know, something about Santa Claus or something, right? Um,
Yeah, like the Santa who was supposed to be working in the Daily Bugles, downstairs, didn't show up, but we got a different guy who just showed up here. He's like, "This is that nutcase burglar we've been after. He confessed to committing all those recent thefts." And there's a cop like watching him. He's telling Peter this, and Peter's like, "And you're standing here while he gives out the loot?" And the cop says, "Nope, his loot's sitting over in the corner. I don't know where he got the stuff he's giving away, but it wasn't from a store. Handmade wooden toys, stuffed animals, beautiful. Besides, he called us up, told us he'd be here. Darndest thing I ever saw."
yeah, so cops are just letting him play Santa one more time, I guess. I don't know.
Yep, and then
And
he's
then
off to the clink.
and Santa, this makes no sense. And then Santa Claus says, "You want to take my picture? You must be Peter." And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're suspicious. I can't blame you, but I've changed. And as proof, here's a message a friend asked me to pass on to you." And he's like, "Me? But what?" And he says, "Oh, ho, ho." And then it says, "Call your aunt. Merry Christmas."
Yep.
So he calls up his aunt, and he's invited to dinner there with Aunt May, Anna Watson, and Mary Jane. And again,
Yeah,
why wouldn't you
all worked out.
call Mary Jane immediately?
A
That made no sense. So then
lot of
what happened?
misconnections, it just
I,
happens sometimes.
I love this. So Aunt May's talk. She's like, "I'm so glad you had our little misunderstanding cleared up, Peter. Christmas morning would be so empty without you." Yeah, which is why it's so weird you weren't going to spend Christmas morning together. Because Christmas
Yeah.
just sneaks up on people. You know, you really have to just call them at the last minute to make plans. It's not like something you know is going to be on the calendar. Uh, But he says, "Hey, I would never pass up on one of your breakfasts, pretty lady. Do you think she made the what
The
are the
wheat
wheat
cakes?
cakes?" Yeah,
Yeah, gotta
it's
have
wheat
wheat
cakes.
cakes.
It's just a
Although I think
shame.
Mary Jane says the waffles, like your
Oh yeah,
waffles
she does say
disagree with you,
waffles. Yeah,
so yeah, no wheat
yeah,
cakes this
because
time.
he wanted wheat cakes. That's why he disagreed with him. But he's
This
like, it's
is the
just a
last Christmas
shame.
I ever spend here. If there's no wheat cakes.
It's just a shame more of your friends couldn't be here. And then he says, "Oh, speaking of friends, Ernie Popchick is out of jail. The grand jury refused to indict him for shooting those hoodlums who attacked him in the subway." I like that's just thrown in on a Christmas morning conversation. Yeah, by the way,
When you live exciting lives, you gotta, get the info out when you can.
uh, yeah,
Clearly,
MJ
Peter's
says,
not over here very often, or he would have been
I
invited
know.
sooner.
It's like Aunt May. What happened to their relationship? But she's like, "Hey, say, Tiger, what's up? Your waffles disagree with you?" And he says, "No, MJ. It's just that I don't know. I feel like something's wrong." And yeah, so if only you had a spider sense that could tell you when something was wrong. And she said, "That's your problem, Pete. You don't know how to relax, but I'll relax you." Uh-oh, hey now.
Oh,
And she starts tickling
not in
him.
front of the old folks.
Yeah. And and so we see like a hand in the foreground pushing away like some pine needles of a tree. And then he pulls out a knife, and it's the worst knife ever drawn in history. And and then someone else says, "Forget it, man."
It is very thin at the base, which is not really what you
It's
want.
very strange for a knife. He's like, if only it was a woman in jeans and leg warmers, he'd have drawn it beautifully. But he's like, forget it, man. We'll do it another day. He won't get away. So really, you're going to try and kill someone on Christmas morning? That was your plan to kill him on Christmas
Hey, when
morning?
you're a hoodlum, you don't follow these holiday schedules.
So what are the odds he'd be with family on Christmas morning?
Well,
So there he is. That's how the issue ends. And
I get the
yeah,
feeling they're after that Nathan guy, remember?
I don't know Nathan. Who's Nathan?
Oh, Nathan was the guy, like the old man in the wheelchair who had a gambling problem. It was one of Aunt May's boarders who she kind of fell in love with. And he was always like
Oh,
getting in
okay.
trouble with, thugs because he owed a bunch of money because he
Oh,
kept
okay. Oh, that
losing at
makes sense.
gambling.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Yeah, I had no idea there's a Nathan that existed. So
Yeah. They were
it's,
gonna, I
it's
think
like our old
Mary
buddy.
or Aunt May have gotten engaged to him at one point, but then I think the vulture killed him.
Oh, what is with Aunt May? Because then wasn't Doc Ock going to marry Aunt May at one point?
Yeah,
And
that's right. And
was
she
the
did
Vulture
marry
also
J. Jonah
jealous?
Jameson's dad at one point.
Holy hell! J. Jonah
Yeah.
Jameson's dad.
Yeah, Peter and Jameson were like brothers-in-law or something like that.
That's a funny story.
Yeah.
What is J. Jonah Jameson's father like? Is he like J. Jonah
He
or?
was much calmer. No, he was a
Yeah,
good
okay.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that as well. Was that Peter
Yep.
David or?
I don't think so. Not sure who that was.
Mm.
That was kind of a long ongoing thing. But then eventually he died too, sadly.
Oh man, what is going
Yeah.
on over there? All right. So there it is. Spectacular Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man issue 112 from 1986. And I
Yeah.
hated it. This was a complete waste of time. This was
I don't
awful.
understand. I don't understand how you hated this
There
so
was
much. I
nothing.
mean, the
Because
art had a
call
lot of
Mary Jane
issues,
right
but
away. For God's sake.
he did call her though, and she didn't answer.
Eventually, after four other people, you call her first. You call her first.
Okay, I mean, granted,
And
I'll
just
give you that, but
and just the whole idea that like no one would have talked to Peter what he's doing Christmas morning, like come on, what are we doing? Just nonsense.
well, I mean, that is
Nonsense.
kind of a thing. Like, I've certainly
Nonsense.
done that in my life where you just like,
Really?
you stop responding to things and you
Really?
just kind of isolate yourself.
Which is why you listen to The Cure. Give your balls a tug, listen to Nirvana, and get over it. All right, let's go. But I don't know. Yeah, I didn't like any of this, and the art wasn't my favorite. Again,
Yeah,
just
the art
bizarre.
could be better. Give
The
this guy a
writing could be
deadline.
better. But yeah, I just did not like this at all. This was one of my least favorite things we've read in a long time.
Wow.
It's just a waste of
I mean,
time.
I would read
Waste of
this
time.
400 times before I'd read Mr. A again.
I would love to read Mr. A right now. I would love it. something with some substance. But yeah, this was
It's a
not good.
Christmas story. They're usually not the most, dire of
This was
consequences.
this was just not good. This was not good. All right, so what are you giving it, Jank? 1 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it like a solid 8.
What?
I yeah, I don't have the issues you did with this. I thought it
Sanity.
was fun. There were some good moments like the beeper thing and just good fun moments. Um, you know, Mary Jane in the bathtub is weird and anatomically incorrect as it was. There was some good shots there. I enjoyed that. And
Some good
honestly,
shots
it
there.
felt like yeah, it felt like a fun comic.
I would be
I,
so angry if I paid money for this as a child. Well, well, I'd see Mary Jane. I'd be like, all right, maybe it's okay. But
maybe it was worth the
I'd give it.
75 cents.
I'll give it a 2 out of 10. A 2 out of 10. So there, eight and a
Okay.
two. So there you
You're
go.
the Grinch of this Christmas. I understand.
I am. I very much am. So yeah, I just did not like this at all. And the Peter David streak continues. I have not read a Peter David book that I've liked on this show in 6 years. So,
Uh,
all right. So next week here on the show, now I think it's still going to be before Christmas when the next episode comes out.
I think so. It'll be like Christmas
Yeah.
Eve or right
Or
around
maybe
Christmas
that's,
Eve.
yeah, around there
Day
somewhere.
before. Yeah.
So I figure, you know what? I'm going to pick a Christmas issue as well.
Oh, look at you.
We're going to celebrate the season, and I
Okay.
need to look at my notes to remember what it was.
That's
Oh,
how good it was.
so we're going to go back to 1983, DC Comics, The
Okay.
New Adventures of Superboy, issue
Oh, young
39.
Superman.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about Superboy.
Yeah.
So we'll get into them next week here on the show. But yes,
What number was that?
Superboy 39, 39.
39.
And on the
Okay.
cover, it's a Gil Kane cover, and he's flying toward the camera, and there's an angry mob throwing snowballs at him.
Do they have kryptonite in them? Because that could be deadly.
No, it's like it's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life in a way, because I think Superboy has a friend who shows up at Christmas dinner, and he's a real jerk. He's not in the Christmas spirit. So Superboy somehow shows him a world without Christmas, and uh,
Oh.
and he learns the error of his ways. And
Apparently everyone
and
wears
there's
a
a back
gas mask in the world without Christmas.
there's a there's a backup story as well, Dow H for Heroes, which we've never talked about on the show.
Huh. I've never heard of that.
You never heard of Dow H for Hero?
No. I
I've
dial H
heard of
for
it.
heroin.
Yeah. Well, I think the gimmick here is like these two kids, they find a magic payphone or something. I don't know. And they Dow H and they turn into heroes. I think that's what the gimmick is. I don't know.
Wow. Do they have to pay like 7.95 a minute?
I don't know. I've never read it. I just heard Mike L talk about it in the past. I was like, wow, that sounds terrible. So next week will be our first experience with Dow H for Hero.
Oh boy.
It'll be something.
All right.
All right, yeah. So that's next week here on the big show. New Adventures of Superboy, issue 39. All right, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We appreciate the support. And until next week, don't get any jank on you.